Hello, everyone. Welcome to Neighbors Helping Neighbors is a function of the Robertson County Democratic Party. Today, I've got Sherry here in the studio, and she is with United Ministries. She's the director in Robertson County. Sherry, thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's a good opportunity to be able to come and visit with the folks out there. We appreciate everything that's been going on, and running a food bank has become a new experience.
Yes, you are undoubtedly one of the most important people in our community, and I'm sure the folks are going to really enjoy what you have to say because the work that you do is just so important. Can you kind of talk maybe a little bit about your background and how you got started in United Ministries, and then let's talk about United Ministries and what that does for the community.
Okay, I started volunteering. First off, United Ministries is an all-volunteer organization. We give out food. That's our main goal. That's our only goal, is to try to help people in the community with their food insecurities. A lot of people come that wouldn't have food to put on their tables a lot of times. Robertson County is a community that has had a food bank since 1995. Well, some people don't even still know about it, but I think the people who need it are aware that we're there, and thank goodness we are, because they have had some hard times over the years. In 2015, I took over the responsibility of running the food bank, and our goal was to try to assist people with their food needs as much as we could. And we've been very fortunate that our community reaches out and makes that possible for us to do. We have right now an average of 600 families a month that comes through the food bank.
Oh, wow.
That's on our norm. I can't say that the last about a week and a half has been anything but the not norm. It's not normal when we start looking at people that have been getting by, and then all of a sudden their SNAP benefits are gone. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk today, was to let people know that that's an important part of a lot of families' income. I mean, they look at that as that's their grocery money. I know a lot of times people think, well, if you're working and things are going good, but so many people in Robertson County and actually, I guess everywhere now, are finding it, trying to make the ends meet and have enough to do everything that they need to do. Their bills are going up, their food costs are going up, everything's going up except what they're making. And a lot of people in Robertson County are not making what we consider to be a living wage. They're working, they're making a salary. A lot of people working more than one job just to try to make things, balance out at the end of the month, so that they're still able to pay their bills and have food.
That's it. And there's of course, a ton of hardworking folks here in Robertson County, and it is difficult to make ends meet. And I want to circle back to that. But for context, if you happen to be listening to this right when it gets released, of course, but if you're listening to it after the fact, the government is currently shut down. It has been for several weeks. And so there's been an interruption in SNAP benefits. And of course, Tennesseans have been impacted by that. There's litigation going on back and forth about whether people are going to receive their SNAP benefits or not. But unfortunately, we're in early November, and it's still been interrupted, and Tennesseans are being impacted. And definitely want to talk a little bit more about that. Where does the food that you get come from?
Okay, we are partnered with Second Harvest out of Nashville. We are one of 46 different food bank organizations that they supply food for on a monthly basis. We are also supported by United Way out of Nashville, and a lot of the churches and organizations, a lot of the businesses help support the food bank here in Robertson County, and it makes a big impact on what we can actually give to the families that did come to our door.
So this is both a private donation, and also you're getting some government funding as well. And is that federally funded or through the state or both?
Pretty much federally funded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the state helps Second Harvest some, but that sort of on that trickle down a little bit to us.
Right.
It's not something we don't get state money. We get the money, everything that comes through Second Harvest is what we end up being able to receive as far as food. We receive USDA foods, which are the products that the government give to Second Harvest at no charge, that we also get for no charge. But now, as far as what we call our commodities, that's going to be the items that we have to purchase. A lot of times Second Harvest does give us some of those, but a lot of people don't realize that food banks still have to buy food as well in order to supplement people with the needs that they have. Our goal is to usually try to look at maybe a week of a family's assistance. We can't supply all the needs that they have, but we're there to at least give them as much as we can. Before COVID, I guess we were spending anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 a month for food to assist, as well as the USDA products. And now with everything that's been going on over the last several years, food costs going up, we're spending, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month just to supplement, to give families enough to maybe give them that week's supply of food.
Oh, wow. And is that $4,000, $5,000, and $6,000? How many families would that cover?
We're averaging about 600 families coming through the food bank every month. They're the ones that are signed up and need the assistance.
Gotcha. So a combination of that up to $6,000 that the food bank is providing, plus what you're receiving in donations, plus coming from government such as USDA, that's what's covering those 600 families. Yeah.
Well, like I say, we couldn't do it without the churches and without the different organizations and industry in Springfield. A lot of people don't realize that Electrolux gives us food a couple of times a week. They have test kitchens that they actually test out their appliances, and we benefit from that. We pick up at Kroger's their deli and bread products at least 3 or 4 times a week. The Papa John's pizza twice a week. If they have pizzas left over, they call us and we'll pick those up. We pick up at Aldi's. We pick up at there's a Chick-fil-A. I also have a gentleman in Cedar Hill, Tennessee. It's Cedar Hill Processing, and we get meat from him sometimes, especially during the fall of the year and winter when there's a program through Second Harvest called Hunting for Hunger. And if guys or gals go out and they kill a deer, they don't want to take it home and eat it, they can donate it to him. And there's a small fee that they pay, and then we get a lot of the meat from there. And we ask people, and we don't actually just give deer out because a lot of people won't eat it, but there's a lot of families that will. So it's an opportunity for them to have additional meat products. And that's one of the higher costs that they look at, they're trying to put on their table.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got so many irons in the fire here. This is a ton of work. And just to be clear for our viewers, this is all volunteer. And so that's just an incredible amount to do for the community without being on any type of payroll. So thank you and your volunteers, first and foremost, for doing that for the community. How has the government shutdown and currently impacted the food that you're receiving and the food that the state is receiving, if you know that information?
Well, one of the things that we noticed, and it started actually last Friday, a week ago, there was a line. I mean, normally we have a line of people when we first open the door, and then it's just like a steady amount of people coming. And this last week, we've had a line of people all day long. So I know that there's a lot of people out there that are taking advantage of the situation that we're there for them, and that we are, can assist them as long as they live in Robertson County. We've signed up. I'm not sure. I know the other day, I think I was in there on Thursday, and we had 6 new people that came in. I'm going to say probably this last week, we've probably added another 30, 35 families to our roll. And as people become more in need, I figure that's just going to be continuing on until things sort of break and they can get back to, having the funds that they've always had and experience, going to the grocery store. But that's what we're there for. I mean, we are an emergency outlet for food. I mean, that's pretty much what our goal has been.
And it is that increase that you're seeing, more families coming in, because do you think it's related to the reduction in SNAP benefits? Is that a driving factor?
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier a little bit about the loss of some food across the state. We were talking truckloads potentially across the state that hasn't been coming in recently because of interruptions in funding. Could you tell the viewers what we were talking about there?
Well, a lot of times, we have grant monies. I feel like grants from different places and different organizations. And in June alone, there was like $10,000 worth of funding that just went away. It wasn't available. Second Harvest has experienced that same thing with grant monies that they had coming in at one point in time between the end of June and the first of the year. They've lost 700 truckloads of food that will just not show up. It's not there anymore. It just went away. And that's a lot of dollars if you think about how much food like one truckload would be. And all those pallets of food that were to come would have been distributed between all the food banks in Middle Tennessee, and they're not there anymore. And I think a lot of people don't realize it, but with the SNAP benefits going away, Second Harvest's ability to purchase food that they give to us, as well as the USDA food that's being available to them, that's shrinking because we're all trying to get food for the people in our communities. Second Harvest is trying to replenish as fast as they can, but on the ordering, like I looked at the order this morning, and a lot of times, it's broken down from cereal to produce to meats to canned goods, and those quantities that are available are shrinking because they can't replenish as fast as we need them to with all the extra people coming on board at one time in all the food banks.
I understand. That's just so incredible to me. And while we at the Robertson County Democratic Party are a political organization, I feel that food insecurity is one of those things across the board that we should be apolitical about, that we can all say families who are hungry, kids who are hungry, we can all agree that we need to feed those people. And so on that end, how do people, because it sounds like there's an urgent need. Those of us that work in advocacy, we always know that there's a need all the time, but now it seems like there's a kind of a critical need. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I was speaking to a group at the Glen. It was a short story group of ladies. There's probably 50 women in there, and one of the ladies, they were right before I was able to stand up and speak before them. She said, "Before you leave, I'm going to give you a check." And so after I was standing and talking to the group in total, I said, money's great. I will never turn money down because that's what we buy food with. That's how we, keep our supply available. But right now, with the shortage coming from Second Harvest and our inability to just go out and buy food enough to make it worthwhile. I mean, if I brought a truckload in, I could give it out in a day. So I'd rather 50 women bring in 50 cases of food, and I have food to give out. So right now, it's the food that's the issue, making sure we have the food on the shelves to put in the bags and the boxes to give to the families. I know we're in the process. Robertson County School has always done, the whole school system has done a really good job of having a food drive in the fall for us, and that's going on right now. We'll be starting to pick that stuff up pretty soon within the next week. And the school systems, these kids are going home and they're talking to their parents about the need in the community. And that's good because that's where things maybe will change. It's always say the young people will make the changes. And if they go in and they say, "Mom, Dad, I need some food and I've got to take it into school so we can help the people in need." That's a very positive community effort right there with our school system. So I want to thank them for always being there to support us in the fall when we're really in need.
Absolutely. And as we were talking earlier, I've got a kid in school as well, and I'm getting those emails, and that's amazing that they're doing that for you. So let's say like I'm just an individual and I want to get involved and I want to donate food. What's the best way, and how do we actually physically make that happen for you?
Well, like I say, I never turn down cash. We take money and we will spend it on food, but canned goods. things that cost a lot. Think about in terms of cereal, jelly, peanut butter, any kind of canned goods. That you think about, if you're going to give somebody a box of spaghetti, give them spaghetti sauce
Right.
so they can make a meal. Like right now, like I say, we're pretty much open on anything. It's funny. One of the things that SNAP does not cover is paper products,
Hmm.
and a lot of people don't realize this, but they can't buy toilet paper on SNAP.
Mm.
And that's a necessity. Hygiene products, they can't
Hmm.
buy those. That's a necessity. So in fact, I've had organizations that said, "What do you want to, what would you like for us to collect?" And I say, "Have a toilet paper drive. Bring us toilet paper so we can maybe give every family 2 or 3 rolls of toilet paper. Paper plates, they can wash plates, but they can't. They have to have toilet paper." So, I mean, it's it's funny the things that happen in the way that things evolve to the needs that families have. Like I say, anything. We'll take any kind of food. I've had some really weird foods come across.
But you have freezer space in
We
case
have
there's
freezer space, we have
meats that show up?
refrigerator. We will always have space. I can remember one year, it's been, I'm gonna say probably 6 or 8 years ago, I ended up having a friend of mine had a storage unit, and we ran out of space. We were just getting so many things from the school system that I finally just said, "Okay, instead of bringing it in here and us bumping around it, we put it in a storage unit until we can make space for it." So we'll work it out. We never get too much food.
Awesome. And so people can drive up to your location during normal business hours.
Right. We are there from Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1:30, and we will be happy to accept your food. We'll put it to good use.
All right. And where is the food bank?
We're located at 808 South Main Street. If everyone knows where Cope is, if not, if you go to the post office in Springfield and look across the street, we're right in the parking lot between us.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I think there's a bit of a stigma about maybe having to show up at the food bank. I think maybe if I look at my pantry and I'm looking at the amount of food that I have and I haven't gotten a paycheck recently and I'm not sure I'm going to make it to the end of the month, what can I do? How do I actually come to the food bank and how do I ask for food? What are the requirements?
Well, when you come in, like I said, we park in the back instead of on Main Street, because there's a parking lot right there beside Coke and behind us. And we ask that you bring your ID, and if it shows that you live in Robertson County, or if you don't have like an ID or a driver's license, bring in a bill from paying utility bills. So bring in your Springfield utility bill, and we can see that you do live in Robertson County. That's only because of the food that we receive from Second Harvest. We at the food bank, United Ministries, do not require that.
Mhm.
But anytime you're dealing with a government program, then we have to follow the rules that they have, and they've set the rules that we have to know that they are in Robertson County.
Awesome. Well, good to know. What do you think, kind of going back to this idea of food insecurity? It can happen to pretty much anyone at any time. A job loss can happen, or an unexpected bill, and things can pile up. And food is one of those things that I think you kind of look at things and you're like, I can cut back a little bit, right? And there's a certain point where you can't cut any more, though. And I think as the Robertson County Democratic Party, that's certainly what we're interested in, ultimately fixing long term. We talked about wages and inflation. Those are things that we want to help fix. But in the meantime, there's got to be stopgaps. And so we're certainly appreciative that you're being that stopgap for people in the community. And the work that you're doing is so invaluable. Of course, we got to get the government up and running again so people get their full amount of benefits. And I'm sure that will be helpful to you. But the amount of work that you and your volunteers are putting into this has been tremendous, and we're certainly thankful for all that you're doing. Is there anything else that we can tell the viewers about the work that you're doing or the food bank?
Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you to all my volunteers, because this is not a one person job. This is a team effort. It takes all of us going in and doing what has to be done, and I've always told volunteers, just be grateful you're on this side of the counter and not on the other side coming in for the help. But, it's a hard thing to know. We have people come in and they are so gracious and they hate the idea of having to come to the food bank, but that's what we're there for.
Mm-hmm.
We don't ever want anybody to feel as though they can't come. Put your pride beside and come. If there's a need, that's what we're there for. We're there to help. One thing that I will state that I got some figures not too long ago at a United Way meeting that we had, and I was shocked. I mean, we know that Robertson County has a lot of people that, hitting on hard times, but I was amazed 49% of the families living in Robertson County are at the poverty level. Almost 50% of our neighbors have struggles every day with more than just the food. We can't help with everything, but we can help with the food.
That's fair.
And I want to thank the Democratic Party, our Neighbors Helping Neighbors community. It means a lot that you've taken an interest, and I know that you are interested, and I know that it's very important to you that that our government gets straightened out. And I'm hoping we're all in the same boat, and we're all going to get there sooner than later.
Likewise. Especially with Thanksgiving coming up, crazy busy season for everyone. Things get rather expensive to put on the table. Are you guys going to see an influx of turkeys? Is that something that you like to see, or is that?
Well, it's funny. I used to make an effort to go purchase turkeys so that we could give them to families. Now, I'm also the representative for Salvation Army, Robertson County. So when people go to the Kroger store and they take that credit card and give $25 to Kroger, all that money comes back to us. So I've got Kroger gift cards for $25 that I'm going to give to 150 families for Thanksgiving. And then I'm going to have 200 that we're going to be able to give out, plus a box of food with all the trimmings. And for the Christmas season, we've got 200 families signed up right now for boxes to pick up. And they'll also receive a $25 gift card. One thing I like to give a point on Salvation Army, 80 to 85 cents of every dollar comes back to this community. It is spent here in Robertson County. I know that because I'm the one that gets to spend it. We use it to help people with their rents. We use it to help people with their utility bills. So, that's one of the things that I'm really proud of. It's myself and another lady at the food bank are the representatives. Also, I'll give a little note. If anybody's interested in ringing the bells right after Thanksgiving, we're going to be ringing the bells. We can ring them here in Robertson County at the Walmart or Kroger's. And when they put the Walmart and Kroger's in Sumner County, they put them right there on the Robertson County side. So we can also ring them over there. So I'm looking to, and surprisingly enough, I know that money comes back because I see it. I send it up. I take it to the bank. I make a deposit of the money we receive. The money comes straight back into an account here in Robertson County that we can help our neighbors with.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Well, if anyone looks real good in a Santa costume and they've got strong wrists, then it sounds like they could use the help out at Kroger ringing some bells. That would be awesome. Might have to look into that myself. Well, Sherry, thank you so much for sharing with us what you and your volunteers are doing on a day-to-day basis, how people can get involved and how people can make it to the food bank if they're in need, and for the figures that you've shared with us. So important to turn the government back on as soon as we can, let people get their SNAP benefits. Food insecurity is no joke. And thanks for the figure about Robertson County and 50% of our neighbors being near or at or below that poverty line. It's fairly low, unfortunately. And so we'll keep working to try to make that better for everyone ultimately. And thank you for helping out with all the food. Truly appreciate you being here. And viewers, thank you so much. And next time that you see Sherry out and about, make sure you give her the biggest thank you, because she is an absolute pillar for this community and food insecurity. Sherry, thank you again.
Thank you for the opportunity. Have a good day.